So, today I bring you a video about HP inflation and power creep, right? So, I was kind of inspired to do this because I recently saw a video by Waveman where he kind of goes over how he's worried about power creep and HP inflation because of characters becoming so much stronger. And I've also been seeing the common consensus whenever I talk about this stuff is that people are saying the HP inflation is worse than ever, they can't clear, the game has gone in a bad route, yada yada, right? And I agreed, right? I genuinely agreed. I haven't really been keeping up with the HP inflation as of recent. So I went to HumDGCat so I could make a video kind of ranting about how bad this game has maybe gotten with the HP inflation, until I realized that if you actually look at the numbers from 3.0 to 3.6, we have actually only gotten 33% HP inflation. Right? So the reason why, in my opinion, it doesn't really make sense to complain about the version 2 HP inflation is that if you compare 2.0, right? This is, I believe, the 2.0 MOC reset to 2.7 and 2.6, you'll realize that actually there was about a 150% HP inflation, right? So in version 2, we had 150% HP inflation for MOC within 2.0 to 2.6. And in version 3, from 3.0 to 3.6, we've had 33% HP inflation. To match the HP inflation of version 2, we would need to have 37.5 million HP in the current MOC, right? And of course, we all know it, this just isn't the case at all. So I have to say, when it comes to HP inflation, surprisingly, this game has been really tame compared to anything we've experienced prior, and it's just nowhere near as much of an issue as it used to be. Now, of course, we got 2 patches left in the version, so maybe it could suddenly just fucking spike to 40 million for whatever reason. However, I do think that is pretty unlikely, right? On top of this, I gotta say, because of this HP inflation not being all that crazy, vertical investment is now much more promising, because characters like Phanon at E2, I mean, they get an over 100% increase in their performance. So if you're seeing something like this, where in the last 9 months, the endgame has only gotten 33% more difficult, you gotta kind of imagine to yourself that if you get an E2 Phanon, it's still gonna completely fucking shred even in version 4, unless they suddenly make this HP inflation go up to 40 milli out of fucking nowhere, right? So far, the HSR devs, they've been giving some pretty good treatment when it comes to the HP inflation. Now, power creep is a different thing. However, in my opinion, I don't really think this game is ever going to balance itself around the premium Cassie team until maybe later in version 4 when we get more teams on that power level. Because here's the thing about Cassie, right? I hate the Cassie shilling too, but something people need to realize is that it's not always black and white, right? Cassie shilling is actually a kind of bad thing for Cassie mains, because the reality is Cassie by herself actually isn't that strong of a DPS, right? You can say, yeah, you could make this argument for everyone. However, not really. Phanon is really good at using free-to-play supports. Same goes for Inoxa, right? So you have examples of DPSs who mainly carry their own value when it comes to team performance, while when it comes to Cassie, to get her to surpass characters like Phanon, main DPS, Evernight, and other shit, you legit need to pull every single premium teammate to be able to achieve that, which is quite expensive for a lot of people and not really worth it, especially this close to version 4. So the reality is, because Cassie isn't really an Acheron situation, where Acheron is the opposite and she just straight up was double power creep over every other character in the game, this has led to a much more healthy HP inflation. Right? Once again, it was Acheron herself. All you needed to do was just pull Acheron and every endgame would be trivialized. However, this doesn't apply in version 3. You need to pull multiple premium teammates for Cassie to even get her to be a top contender as a DPS, and it's not until you get the full premium team where she's actually finally the top dog. So let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. I thought it was an interesting topic because we all know it. HSR is kind of treated and looked at in this very negative light because of the HP inflation and power creep we got in version 2 with Acheron, right? However, just now, you know, kind of realizing this when I was going to make a video bashing it, the HP inflation has just been way fucking healthier. It's been so much healthier, and I can't even stress just how crazy it is to see an only 33% HP inflation increase when we had these massive spikes in version 2 that I honestly thought would continue being a trend, but clearly not really, right? So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I know I'm probably going to be called a Hoyo shill for saying something good about HSR, but it is what it is. This is just my real opinion, right? And you can't even make the argument like, oh, bosses used to have like gimmicks that made them easier, because Flame Reaver takes a shit ton of self damage if you kill his clones. And this guy over here, I mean, it says it right here, when you break him, he takes 50% more damage, loses 10% HP, and has his action delayed by 200%. So this guy is like incredibly fucking easy to eat through for a lot of characters. Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night, and peace out. So there's 40 seconds left on the video, and I do just feel like hitting 8 minutes on it since I'm not uploading as frequently as I used to. So listen to my yap a little bit. The Cassie account has 80 polls. Yeah, that's pretty solid. So probably can get like another 20 before we go into 3.6. And obviously I can get some polls in 3.6 as well. So I should be able to at least guarantee Evernight. However, as you guys may or may not know, I obviously want that E1. Now, the reason I want Evernight so badly for my Cassie account is actually because RMC becomes a lot weaker for E2 Cassie specifically, because she action advances herself every time she uses ult, and this will tick down RMC's true damage buff. So getting Evernight is a much bigger increase than compared to the increase for E0 teams, and she's already a pretty big increase for E0 teams. So I imagine for my E2 Cassie specifically, going to be an absolutely banger pickup for her overall performance. Can't wait to make some videos on that. Love you all. Thanks for stopping by and listening to my yap a little bit at the end here, and peace out.